What are common policy limit amounts? If you are shopping for auto insurance, understanding policy limits is essential. You might be wondering, what are common policy limit amounts? Let's break it down in a simple way. Policy limits refer to the maximum amount an insurance company will pay for a covered claim. These limits are usually expressed in three numbers for liability coverage: bodily injury per person, bodily injury per accident, and property damage per accident. Most states have minimum policy limits that drivers must carry. These limits can vary by state but generally include three key components. For bodily injury per person, this is the maximum amount paid for injuries to one individual in an accident. Bodily injury per accident is the total maximum amount paid for injuries to all individuals involved in a single accident. Property damage per accident is the maximum amount paid for damage to property caused by the insured driver. For example, in California, the minimum limits are $30,000 for bodily injury per person, $60,000 for bodily injury per accident, and $15,000 for property damage. In Texas, the limits are $30,000 for bodily injury per person, $60,000 for bodily injury per accident, and $25,000 for property damage. While these minimums are legally required, they may not provide enough protection in serious accidents. Many experts suggest higher coverage limits for better financial security. A common recommendation is $50,000 for bodily injury per person, $100,000 for bodily injury per accident, and $50,000 for property damage. For even more protection, some drivers opt for $100,000 for bodily injury per person, $300,000 for bodily injury per accident, and $100,000 for property damage. High net worth individuals often choose limits of $250,000 for bodily injury per person, $500,000 for bodily injury per accident, and $100,000 for property damage or higher. Increasing your liability limits can help protect you from out-of-pocket expenses if you cause a severe accident. Minimum limits may protect you from legal penalties, but they might not cover all damages in a serious accident, leaving you liable for additional costs. Additionally, some states requiring extra coverages like uninsured or underinsured motorist coverage, which also have their own limits. If you have a financed vehicle, lenders may requiring collision and comprehensive coverage with specified limits. In summary, common policy limit amounts start at state minimums like $30,000 for bodily injury per person and can go up to $100,000 or higher for better financial protection. Choosing the right limits depends on your budget, assets, and how much risk you are willing to take.